Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. David Orman, and you're listening to another episode of The Wellness Shot for the week of February 9th. So I had an interesting experience with my wife, and the theme was repeated with about 4 or 5 patients during the course of the week. So she's a musician, my wife. She's a musician, and she wrote and played the instruments and recorded her first song. And so she set up a Patreon account. And Patreon is associated with a particular company that you pay into, that you receive if you want to join membership, similar to a bunch of other people. And so she had an issue with the payment company. And let me leave that aside for a second. We have things, each of us have things that we're great at, maybe one or two or three, and then maybe another, I don't know, dozen or so that we're really good at, and then a bunch more that we're solid at, and then a bunch more we're competent at, and then a whole bunch more that we're not so good at. That's just human nature. And the key is knowing which we handle and which we can pass off. And so she kind of got upset for a few days, and I said, "Let me handle it," and it didn't work out real well. Nevertheless, I took care of it, and we had an interesting conversation today. And I said, there are things that this doesn't bother me in the least. I take it as a fight, and martial arts are my thing, so I take it as a fight, a peaceful fight, but nevertheless a fight. And there are things she's fantastic at. That, for example, when we had an electrical issue, you don't want me handling it unless you want the house burned down, or you want my hair to look like Don King, or, the tunnel of light, God and Elvis, that thing. Not a strong suit, but it is with her. And so knowing which one is which is very, very helpful. And of course, we got a kick out of it. And during the course of the week, I noticed that with a couple of patients. Oh, I'm so upset about this and this and this. But my husband, it doesn't bother him at all, or my wife, it doesn't bother her at all, or that kind of stuff. And there are three major organs that are associated with issues like this: the kidneys, the liver, and the heart. So when it comes to the kidneys, for example, the kidneys govern willpower, they govern trust, and they govern our how would I say this, relationship to support and overall survival. So they're the animal portion of the brain, the reptile portion of the brain, as it's often called. When the kidney chi is weak, or when there's deep fear, a person feels as if they have to rely on themselves only. They can't trust anyone else to do the work for them, even though they may be far superior in that particular area. Asking for help feels unsafe. It feels humiliating. Sometimes it feels threatening. And this often comes from early childhood experiences. This often comes where support was either absent or inconsistent. And so the person learns that I have to do it myself, or else. That's kidneys. Let me leave that aside for a second. Next is the liver. The liver governs autonomy, liver governs control, and it also governs direction in life. So when the liver energy becomes stagnant, when it stops flowing, it creates rigidity. It creates a sense of pride, but not healthy pride, as in I have made an accomplishment. I wrote a book, or I learned a language or something, and I feel good about it. This is a pride disguised as strength. So in other words, I'm going to show that I'm this when in fact I'm terrified. Person feels as if asking for help means that they lose control, or they maybe never had control, or typically it means that they have to admit that there's weakness, and that's, for some, that's not the easiest thing to do. Anger, frustration, depression, silent resentment are often the end result of that. And that And then underneath, there's the refusal almost to ask for help. This is the warrior that is bleeding, and their this is broken and their that is broken, and they won't ask for help. There again, these things, there's not necessarily anything wrong with them, but there is a much better way of doing it. So we have kidney, we have liver, we have one more, we have heart. And the heart governs interpersonal connections. It governs vulnerability, and it governs openness. You hear phrases like, I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve. That's where that comes from. It's metaphorical, of course, but there underneath that, there is a rock solid principle. And when the heart is guarded, it often feels betrayed or disappointed when a person and emotionally closed when they feel they have to go outside their normal circle. So, in other words, I don't know how to do this. This is my circle. Going outside feels, oh no, too vulnerable, too emotionally charged. They may want help, but often can't ask for it. Remember, in one of the prior clips I did, the heart is associated with the tongue, not only the physical tongue, but the ability to speak or the ability to ask or the ability to find the right words. So when the heart energy is weaker than it needs to be, a person can't find the words to ask for help in a way that says, I just can't do it. This is not my thing. Lend me a hand here. So those are the three areas. In short, the kidneys say, I can't depend on anyone. The liver says, I shouldn't depend on anyone. And the heart says, I don't know how to ask for help by anyone, from anyone. So those are the three major areas. I'm going to do a part two next week, which will show a treatment, so to speak, or a strengthening of those three areas so that a person can say, you know what, this is not my thing. I'm going to farm it out, or this is not my thing. I'm going to go ask this person for help. So what? It feels risky, it feels scary, it feels this, it feels that, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know I can't do it very well, but they can. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Please like the clip, and I will see you all next week.